Hello friends, in today's video I'm going to show you how to change the fuel filter in a Mazda 3 3rd generation as well as 4th generation. Just an FYI, fuel filter by manufacturer recommendation needs to be changed every 2 to 3 years. Last time I changed mine was 3 years ago, so time for me to change mine. The location of the fuel filter is behind the 12-volt battery under the bonnet on the front of the car. In order to remove the 12-volt battery, you need to untighten these screws, which are for the mounting bracket. The way they are holding the battery in place is via those hooks there on the side of the battery. Just release those hooks and lift up the bracket. Now, before you lift the battery, you make sure you either have a very strong back or you have someone to help you, because it is a rather heavy battery. Worth mentioning, you should always disconnect the negative terminal of the battery first, tuck it away, and then disconnect the positive. Positive terminal is the red one. Disconnect the pressure sensor from the fuel filter mounting bracket. You have 2 screws there, 10mm socket needed to undo them. These screws hold the bracket in place. Loosen them up with a socket wrench and then you can untighten them with hand. Pull it out carefully. Mark the inlet pipe, the one that is feeding fuel from your tank, just so you connect it accordingly once you install the new filter. I'm using a bit of masking tape there. Always a good idea to have some kind of a cloth to prevent any fuels from leaking onto the body of the car. I learned that the hard way, because once I undid one of the hoses, it splashed a bit of fuel. Also bear in mind that the fuel filter has quite a bit of fuel in it. So when you lift it up, make sure you lift it up with the hose connections up. Here I'm undoing the fuel hose that is feeding fuel after it's been filtered into the engine. And that's what I meant when I said keep your filter with the connections up, because I splashed a bit of filter fuel on the battery bed. You can try and drain as much as the fuel as possible out of the filter by doing this. Make sure you have a good tray without any holes in it to prevent leaks. It does take a bit of time. Here's me undoing the mounting bracket screws and taking the fuel filter out. The bottom pressure sensor does come off relatively easily, but what I had troubles with is the top of the fuel filter, the mounting plate on top of the fuel filter. That's me draining the remaining amount of fuel from the filter. Put the white bit, the pressure sensor, on the side. Make sure you don't step on it, damage it in any way, because that's important. That does not come with your new filter. Now here was the difficult bit, removing the top plate with the hose connections. from the old fuel filter. It did take me around half an hour to figure it out, but my solution was rather simple. Try with a hammer, try with the plumber pliers, nothing worked. So what I did is I grabbed a monoblock slab, rested the fuel filter against it, and then slammed the top bit with the hammer. Now the top plate, mounting plate, is rather sturdy, and because I don't care about the old fuel filter, I wasn't too scared of damaging it. That's the mounting plate removed from the old fuel filter, and I'm ready to screw it onto the new fuel filter. I went with a Bosch because they are a reputable brand here in the UK. The fuel filter itself comes with an O-ring seal, which goes on top of the pressure sensor. There's a pressure sensor, and I'm just sliding the O-ring on top of it after I've removed the old one. You do not need the pressure sensor to be screwed onto the new filter too tight. You can just screw it on by hand. Obviously, don't be too gentle because you don't want this to come off while you're driving the car from all the road vibrations. In order to help the car start the first time after replacing the fuel filter, you want to fill up the fuel filter with some diesel. Thankfully, I had some lying around. It can be a messy job, so just be careful or have the tray used for draining the filter underneath the new filter as you're filling it up with fuel. To my surprise, the fuel filter took quite a bit of fuel, to be honest. Maybe around half a liter, maybe a bit less, maybe 300 ml. One Coke can worth of fuel. I wasn't expecting it to take that much, but here, just to give you a rough idea of how much fuel you can prepare for refilling the filter. And with the new fuel filter filled up with fuel, pressure sensor installed, it's time to get the mounting plate with the hose connections back on it. Again, that also needs to be hand-tied, not too strong, not too gentle. Fuel filter goes in the mounting bracket. And there's no torque specifications for the mounting bracket screws, so I just used common sense and I tried not to over tighten them, but I wasn't going too gentle for them as well. They were not too difficult to take off anyways. The pressure sensor clips back onto the mounting bracket. And time to place the hoses back on the mounting bracket on top of the new fuel filter. Again, remember you marked the inlet hose with some masking tape. Make sure it goes back onto the same port on the mounting plate on top of the fuel filter. Make sure you push the hoses all the way in on the ports. And that's our fuel filter ready to go back mounted onto the car's body. Slightly tricky, again, be careful with the hoses, but they're rather sturdy, so you shouldn't really have any troubles pushing that back into place.
Благодаря.
Again, there's no torque specification for those screws. I used common sense to tighten them. Reconnect the fuel filter pressure sensor cable and mount it onto the bracket. Reinstall the battery by putting back the mounting plate first, making sure it's nice and tight, but not too tight. Again, just use common sense. And then reinstall the battery terminals, starting from the positive. Push in place, tighten it. Again, common sense, no torque specifications on those bolts. So positive done, then do the negative. Jumping back in the car. Put the car in neutral, depress the clutch, start the car. If your car struggles to start the first time, as mine did, then just press on the gas pedal a few times in order to have the fuel pump push some more fuel into the filter. And that's it, mission accomplished. Thank you for watching, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.